What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Drew Hoover, and today we'll be talking about the spread offense. Now, I have mentioned I was going to do the spread offense, but little did I know there were so many variations and formations of the spread offense, which means I'm going to have to spread these out and also limit myself to the spread formations that are relevant in the NFL. So this segment's going to be on the air raid spread offense. Then we'll soon address the spread option offense. And then we'll talk about spread in the pistol formation. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please click that subscribe button. Also, if you have any graphic design needs, Anthony Garcia is your man. His link is in the description below, www.anthonygarciadesign.com. Now, to talk about the spread offense, we have to go back to the grandfather of the spread offense, Rusty Russell. In the 1920s, he was head coaching a football team for the Fort Worth Mosaic Home and School for Orphan Boys. So he wasn't really coaching a college team, a big college team, but it was relevant enough that it made years down the road, especially when a book was published about that specific team in 1927. And then you fast forward to Leo Dutch Meyer, the head coach for Texas Christian University, or as most known as TCU. He published a book in 1954 called The Spread Formation Football, and he talked about the spread formation and concepts that he used at TCU, even mentioning the quarterbacks that he utilized in his offense, Sammy Baugh and Davey O'Brien. And if Davey O'Brien sounds familiar, that's because college football awards the best quarterback every year with the Davey O'Brien Award. And last year's winner was Mac Jones. And so it was actually the book that came out and the offense that he ran at TCU that inspired some of the offenses we know today. It is believed that Don Coryell's Air Coryell offense was inspired by TCU. He just brought his own mix and his own terminology into the mix. Same thing with Bill Walsh's West Coast offense, inspired by it, but he also put his own mix, his own hands, and made it his own. When you think about Don Coryell and Bill Walsh's offense, they're actually doing the same thing, spreading the offense, but with different approaches. Bill Walsh's West Coast offense spread the defense by short passes. Don Coryell spread the defense by motion and personnel, which, like I said, putting as many guys on the line as possible. So when you look at spread offense, it is variated so much over the years, so many different playbooks and different formations. You may have heard of the double wing formation or the wishbone formation. And like I said, a lot of formations haven't made it to the NFL. Like I said, if they have made it, like I said, coaches have adjusted to make it their own. And usually spread formations is mostly used in critical situations, either a third and long situation or in a 2-minute drill. Probably a version of the spread formation that we recognize that made a huge impact was the 2008 Miami Dolphins when they started running the Wildcat version of the spread offense. Obviously, that was a little bit short-lived, but it shows that, especially when you have head coaches that you hire from college football to become in the NFL. Similar, like I said, Don Coryell, who went to San Diego State before finding a job in the NFL. That you're soon going to find a lot more spread concepts in the NFL. Now, today we'll be talking about the air raid version of the spread offense, which pretty much, feeds into the thing we think about the spread offense, which was to pass the ball vertically down the field like Eric Coryell's offense. In this case, you're probably passing the ball anywhere from 65% to 75% of the time. But it's more than that. The quarterback has to be able to call audibles before the snap, read the defense, and if he has to make adjustments to either the running back, the wide receiver, or the offensive line protection, he's got to be able to do that. And in fact, for not all offense, but some offenses, when it comes to the running game, 90% of the run plays came from audibles. Also, another concept of the air raid offense is the no huddle. pretty much keeping the defense on their toes, not getting into a huddle, just getting back to the line, and pretty much giving the defense antsy and making sure that they don't get the playoff, that they don't get the personnel that they need to properly man up against the formation that they have. So when I think about this concept of the air raid offense, like I said, there's not a lot of teams that say, hey, we run air raid offense. There's a lot of offenses that run air raid concepts. When I think of this, I think of one quarterback, Peyton Manning. One of the best quarterbacks of all time, was drafted in 1998 by the Indianapolis Colts. And my first introduction to his audibles was actually Madden NFL. When he would play Madden NFL, every play he would be making audibles to the routes, to the protection, even changing formations entirely before snapping the ball. And that's exactly what he did in the NFL. And he pretty much evolutionized the quarterback position because of the audibles that he did and keeping the defense on their toes. And when you think of who Peyton Manning's first quarterback coach was, that was Bruce Arians, the current head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just won the Super Bowl. And to go back from, Bruce Arians' background, he also was a spread quarterback. Back when he was a quarterback at Virginia Tech under Jimmy Sharp, he ran the spread offense under the wishbone formation. So he had history with the spread offense. He also coached, in Temple and in Alabama until finally reaching it into the NFL. And, it's probably because of his college experience going with these different college offenses that he was probably able to become what we know him today as the quarterback whisperer. Again, going back to the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning, and like I said, pretty much helping him become the quarterback he is today. Then he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, becoming a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator for Ben Roethlisberger. Then going back to Indianapolis to coach the number 1 overall pick in 2012, Andrew Luck, helping revive Carson Palmer's career in Arizona, and then finally coming to Tampa Bay to coach the best quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. And Tom Brady had one of his best years other than 2007. He passed for 4,633 yards and 40 TDs. And he passed the ball 610 times. And so, again, the quarterback given a lot of opportunities to spread the ball down the field, and the quarterback having free reign to make adjustments on the line of scrimmage. And Bruce Arians had this saying, no risk it, no biscuit. So he likes to take risks, advancing the ball vertically down the field. Let's get into some of those plays of the air raid spread offense.
So here is a play from Bruce Arians' playbook, particularly the 2016 Arizona Cardinals. And as you can also see, the play is pretty long. The reason for this is because the previous playbooks I have shown you have been from 30, 40 years ago, back when these plays were fresh. But now, in this time, a lot of plays have been shared. A lot of, when talking about coaches, moving on and getting their own opportunities to coach a team, they'll probably bring their own philosophies into the mix. So a lot of times, to make them separate from other teams, they'll have plays similar to this, but they'll change terminologies. Name of the routes, for example, or the name of the plays to set themselves apart. And as you can see right here, the play is called G Duo Right 74 Double Out. And each part of this has a part to play. So the G right here is actually going to be your snap count. As you can see, the quarterback is 5 yards off the line of scrimmage in shotgun. A lot of spread offense will be in the shotgun. The G actually will indicate the snap on go, not on 1 or 2 or 3, but on go. Duo right indicates the formation. And so duo obviously refers to the two wide receivers to the left and right of the quarterback. And right indicates the placement of the ball. So depending on where the previous play ends,
in this case, the ball had to be ending on the right side of the field. So this left side of the field is probably going to have a lot of open field. So, and then this 74 is an indication of your offensive blocking scheme. And so 74, Bruce Arians would have all these numbered out. So when the quarterback would say 74, the offensive line know exactly how to block this play. And then double out. Usually he ends the plays by routes relevant to the play. And it won't say it all, but it'll at least point out the ones that are important. So let's just go from left to right here. This F wide receiver, let's just call him Michael Floyd. Michael Floyd was a wide receiver from Notre Dame that was drafted with the 13th overall pick in the 2012 NFL Draft. And his probably biggest year was 2013 when he caught 65 passes and received for over 1,000 yards. Unfortunately, his career has been short-lived. He only spent 5 years with the Arizona Cardinals, and a lot of that had to do with his struggle with alcoholism. And so after his 5 years, he spent the next 3 years juggling around for 4 teams until eventually calling it quits after the 2018 season. So let's get on to the play, actually. And he's going to run what Bruce Arians calls a semi-route, which, as you can see, looks similar to an out route, but instead of him going to a straight speed release up here, he's going to try to find the inside of that corner and then run towards the 10 yards in an angle, and then once he reaches the top of those 10 yards, then starts heading towards the sideline, because again, in the duo right, that means he's going to have a lot of plenty of open room. And then you got your X wide receiver, let's just call him John Brown. He was with the Cardinals for many years, including last year when he was catching balls from Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. And so he's just going to run a hitch right here. He's just going to go up 12 yards, come back right here. And then I mentioned the quarterback in his shotgun right here. I think it's funny that even after being 5 yards apart, that he still has to go through the steps, the timing of the offense, the time of the play unfolding. You still got to do that 5-step drop. And then you got your running back right here. We're going to call him David Johnson. This was a guy that came out of Northern Iowa and really the first big playmaker to come out of that university. He was drafted in the 3rd round. A lot of it was because of his dual threat, the way he can catch balls out of the backfield, and he was a definite playmaker in that spread offense. He's just going to run a trail route right here, go past the line of scrimmage, go about 5 yards, and then head towards the middle of the field. Now, if he sees a zone right up in here, Bruce Arians tells him, just sit on the top right here. And now you got your tight end, and let's call him Jermaine Gresham. He spent some time with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Arizona Cardinals. He's mostly known for his time in college in Oklahoma, catching balls from Sam Bradford. He's just going to run a basic cross pattern, 14 yards deep, run towards the middle of the field. Then you have wide receiver Z, Larry Fitzgerald, one of my favorite receivers. You talk about when he came into the league, being a duo with Anquan Bolden. He has made big plays in the postseason, particularly the year in 2008 through 2009 when the Arizona Cardinals went to Super Bowl 43, almost won them the game-winning touchdown, but he's made so many plays throughout the years, and so he's going to run a 5-yard deep shallow crossing route right here. And so the routes don't seem as complicated. You know, like I said, only one guy maybe had an alternate right here. But really, you see the spread offense in the shotgun, which is the first time. And also, like I said, the complexity of the play calling right here. So, because like I said, the quarterback has to be able to command the offense, make audibles, make changes right here, and tell everybody where their assignment is. Let's go through another play. And here we have the G trips right indigo buck X caddy. I know it's a mouthful, but again, all is important. G, again, the snap is go. Trips right, the formation, again, the ball being on the right side of the field. Indigo bucks X caddy, the routes right here. Again, we'll get to them. Again, the quarterback's in the shotgun. He's going to do a 7-step drop this time. Your X wide receiver, he's going to run
a comeback, or a caddy in this case. He's going to run 18 yards deep and take it back. Then you got your H-back, your running back. He's going to run what they call a chick fan. And he's going to go out here past that left tackle and come back almost like a M pattern or a check down. But he's got multiple options. If it's zone right here, he's just going to sit at the top of this route. But if it's man, he's going to go left or right, whatever he can do to find separation from that man coverage. Then you got your tight end. He's going to run what they call a buck route. Again, referencing to the play. He's going to run in towards that right tackle and then start heading upfield. And if it's zone, he's going to cut it back. Or if it's man, again, going left to right, whatever it does to find that separation. Now this is where it gets a little complicated. Again, the quarterback and the slot receiver have to be on the same page, you know, depending on what the defense gives them. So initially, this slot receiver F is going to run a seam route as indicated right here. But depending on what the defense gives him, he can run what seems to be an inner post route, or if he gets to the top of this route, which by the way is 12 yards deep, he can run it back towards the sideline almost like a corner. So again, giving them multiple options, trying to find every possible way to get their wide receivers open. And then finally, simply, your C wide receiver is going to run it in. This is a very deep in route, run 16 yards deep, and then cut towards the middle of the field. Again, this is, you know, the spread offense, trying to get the wide receivers open. And I can't imagine being a quarterback having to know everybody's assignments, from your wide receivers to the running back to your pass protection. A lot of responsibility goes in that quarterback. And like I said, having to memorize this by heart, I honestly couldn't do it. But let's give it one more play. And finally, we have the G empty right 52 Tog X hitch. G meaning go, empty right formation, pretty much meaning that the quarterback's going to be all by himself in the shotgun. 52 is your protection. Tog X hitch is the routes they're going to do. X is the hitch. Usually we've been seeing hitches that are like in the comeback formation. But as you can see, he's just going to go to the 8 routes right here and then come back and sit on that. Then you got your H in the slot right here. I believe this is going to be your running back, considering they didn't change the term right here like they would in the slot. So I'm assuming it's going to be a running back in the slot, and he's going to be running your seam route, again with those different options that we mentioned. Running back that has to learn what the other wide receivers learn when it comes to the route trees. Then you got your tight end running a simple out route, 10 yards deep, run towards the sideline. Then your slot right receiver running a semi, again similar to that route, except he's going to run it at an angle and then 10 yards head to the sideline. And again, layering your options right here. And then finally, your Z right receiver, he's just going to run a simple go route. And this is what the spread offense does. This is coming from an offense that passed 65% of the time. You know, when you talk about, you know, this kind of offense, you know, I mean, the spread offense has been around for a while in the NFL, but it has not been the core position in which that offenses run the ball. Usually a spread offense like this is only used in critical situations like a 3rd and long or in a 2-minute offense, but you're seeing more and more of these plays and formations in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down.
Now, I know that was a lot, guys, and honestly, I've learned so much by learning under these playbooks and stuff. I have felt overwhelmed, which is why I've posted these videos late and I've had to spread them out. But really, it's just, you know, it's amazing how far the offense has gone in the NFL. And we think a lot of that to that spread offense, even though it took a while for those concepts to be implemented more and more in the NFL, man, it's making the NFL more and more of an exciting game today. And when you talk about some of the offenses today that run spread air raid offenses, and like I said, there's a lot of different teams that run different concepts of it. When you think of, Patrick Mahomes, he runs some of an air raid and some of a run pass option, which we'll get to in the next segment with the spread option. And, again, just talking about some of these quarterbacks that have to carry the responsibility of making sure everyone is in their assignments and making sure to adjust apparently what the defense gives to them, so that way that they can succeed on every play. And that has been the spread offense for the air raid. And I hope you enjoyed this segment. We'll be talking about the spread option, which will go more deeper because we got your zone reads, your double, triple options, and obviously the run pass option. And perhaps we'll even have to go back and forth through different coaches and different offenses so we can talk about that spread offense. This has been your Average Joe Sports Network. I'm your host, Drew Hoover, and have a good day, everybody.